What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to give you my dream scenario for Paul George this offseason, and that's joining the Orlando Magic in the free agency. Let's get into it, guys. So last night ended the Clippers season. Game 6 lost to Dallas Mavericks. Clippers had an okay showing. PG, James Harden didn't really show up all the way, which is, kind of norm for them in the playoff, but they did lose to the Kyrie and Luka Doncic-led Mavericks. Their season is now cut short. But as we all know, Paul George, his time in LA could be coming to an end. I doubt it though. Like if I were to put the betting odds up, I would think the Clippers would be easily number one option to him staying. I think they do work something out. But just in case he does end up leaving, I think there's two main teams that could use his services, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers and the Orlando Magic. And as we see now, the Magic going to Game 7 with the Cavaliers probably today's Saturday, probably Monday. If I were to guess, give them a day or two of travel back and get some rest. I think the Magic to me is the best spot for them, and let me tell you why. Before we get into that, let's talk about why Paul George might leave LA first. So the Clippers paid Kawhi Leonard in January, if not mistaken, 3 or 4 year deal worth 150 million. But the thing is, they don't really have enough money to replace Paul George. So either they bring Paul George back, or it's going to be a weird looking team, because they're most likely going to bring James Harden back as well, Russell Westbrook maybe. But I think Harden is a shoe in to come back. I think they'll make that work. Kawhi Leonard already signed up, but PG's interesting, and the PG and Kawhi Leonard, that entire thing hasn't quite worked out. They both been there the Clippers for 5-6 years now, and this is the first year since 2018 that Paul George has played over 60 games. The first year, but prior to joining the LA Clippers, he's been relatively healthy, except for the year he broke his leg and played, I think, 6 to 8 games, something like that. Outside that 1 year, he's played 60 games, I believe, every year since. Well, before and after until joining the Clippers. So, his tenure with the Clippers has great moments, big play, big shots, but all in all, it's been a failure for Kawhi and Paul George in their tenure in LA. So, with them going to that new stadium, I think next year Kawhi was a shoe in to come. He's the star of the team. Even though he doesn't really play as much, he's the star of of that team and that franchise there. So he's going to go in along with James Harden. I think he's going to return as well. But Paul George is a tricky one. But I don't know why, because I would have picked personally Paul George, and I would have traded Kawhi a couple years ago. But that's just me, But he can't seem to stay healthy. And Paul George really can't either. But at least George was there more often than Kawhi Leonard was. But on the Paul George's free agency, he could be the missing piece for some of these teams. The 76ers are definitely the bigger threat than the Orlando Magic to get them because star power. They have Joel Embiid, they have Tyrese Maxey, two proven guys, two guys who are veterans and need to win right now, and they have the money. So uh, I think they have the upper edge on the Orlando Magic. But I love the Magic because they're so young, and they just need. And we'll see how far they go in this playoff run because, as I said, Game 7 hasn't been played yet as recording this video, so they can win Game 7, move on to the next round, and make some noise there. But I don't expect them to get too far or farther than next series. But I will say they're on the rise. Obviously, a young stud in Paulo Banchero, another young stud in Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs as a perimeter guard. He's doing well on defense. A couple of timely shots as well, especially threes last night in Game 6. So he's playing solid. Not the Suggs we thought we were going to get out of college, but he's not bad. So he definitely has his role now. And Jonathan Isaac's still there. No, the whole crew. So they're a good young team. I think they're the fourth youngest team in the NBA right now, and they're balling out. So I can really see getting them a veteran wing player like Paul George. Who can't use a high end two-way player? Who can't use a player who can give you 25, 30 any given night? Who can't use a tough shot maker, a clutch player in the regular season, not postseason. So I will say that. But he's someone you can bring along, give him a max deal right now, put him in the middle of Franz Wagner, put him in the middle of Apollo, two young guys who are fearless. Put him with Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, those guys, and it's gonna work out. Wendell Carter, it's gonna work. I really think it will work out, and I don't think. Well, I'm not gonna say a title, but they're gonna get further than the second round, in my opinion. Everyone stays healthy and plays right. As I said though, it is tough to with bank on Paul George, but simply because of the injuries. As I said, this is the first year in 5-6 years when he's played over 60 games. So is this an anomaly or is this the new normal? So he's getting older. As I said, so we'll see. Normally, your body breaks down more than it was when we were younger. So he might go back to his normal below 60 game average as far as playing goes. But it might not. It might not. You never know. Maybe he did something different this year. I'm not quite sure what his regimen is, obviously, or his training, but he looks the same. But we don't know what he did behind the scenes, or he just got lucky this year. But overall, man, I really, really love him going to the Magic. And if you follow the channel, which I don't do NBA as I used to, but when I first started this channel 4 or 5 years ago, I used to go on rants about Paul George, saying he was a top 10 player, can be a top 5 and top 3 player if he just gets his head right. Obviously, it didn't ever happen, and injuries as well happened. As I said, that's the same time. By the time I started the channel, the same time he went to the Clippers, around that same time frame. So injuries started to affect him more, all that stuff. But I totally get why guys like Brandon Miller and other young guys see Paul George and say, yeah, that's my GOAT. Because when Paul George came into the league, you remember in the Indiana Pacers, excuse me, Paul George was fearless. He came to LeBron, no problem. He was going after LeBron his first couple years, playing hard, hitting timely shots, big shots, clutch. He was the number one guy for that Pacers squad. Obviously, nothing happened. Well, not nothing happened. They did get far and faced the Heat and LeBron a couple times and got pretty close, but their leg injury set him back a little bit. Came back strong from that, got traded and stuff like that, but he's still a top talent to me. So I definitely get, and just seeing him silky smooth, 6'9", 6'10", maybe even 6'11", good handles, two-way guy. Like I said, clutch shots, big shots. He had a good run with Russell Westbrook with the Thunder for I think 2 years back in the day. So he's been around and he's had great moments. He just haven't won anything, and that's the thing about it. So um, if I'm the Magic, I would take a flyer, an expensive flyer on Paul George. I think the Sixers would as well. Obviously, they had the money for it, but at the same time, do you want to bring on another injury-prone guy to play with your injury-prone superstar and Joel Embiid? Because if George plays under 60 games per year for the most part, I know Embiid's like that also. Has to be, because Embiid is a guarantee to miss about 20 games per season dang near. So, you want to really bring in another guy who's in the same injury realm as Joel Embiid, and then both guys are going to miss about 15, 20 games. And with Tyree Maxey solo for some of those stretches. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's definitely tough. It's a tough call. As I said, I don't even think Paul George leaves Los Angeles, but there's a slim chance, though. There's a chance that they lowball him and he gets frustrated, or just say, hey, forget it, I'm going somewhere new. And I would love for him to pick Orlando over anyone else. I think that would be cool. It'll be just a change of times, because Paul George years ago would never consider going to Orlando, no matter how much money they had. But I think now it could be different, because he could be the missing piece to help drive that Magic team to a different level next season. Depending, like I said, they might can luck up and get somewhere far this year. I doubt it. I think the second round, if they beat the Cavs, obviously in Game 7, coming up soon, the second round I think is their limit. But you never know. Miracles do happen. Players and teams do get hot at the same time. It could definitely happen. Injury, knock on wood, nothing happened to none of the opposing team players, but things can happen. that could go their way and make them, go further than what I think they can. So, but I think Paul George, if he goes to the Magic next year and everyone's healthy, everyone obviously is dialed in and locked in, I think it could be very dangerous to play that Magic team, and they'll be probably one of the best teams in the East, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens with Paul George for agency. I think he stays in LA. That's the most likely spot. I don't think he get the max, but he gets pretty close. But if he does leave, Sixers, Orlando, and I would love for him to pick Orlando and go somewhere new, go somewhere different, and lead this young team. Try to lead this young team to the promised land. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.